You ever feel like your brain just has, I don't know, 1,000 tabs open all at once? Yeah, you're not alone. We live in a world that's basically designed to steal our focus. So being able to truly concentrate, that's a superpower. But what if the secret wasn't about trying harder, but about something way simpler? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into some timeless wisdom from a monk on how to build concentration that's, well, truly unbreakable.
And this one idea right here, this is the key to everything we're about to cover. The monk's teacher said, the mind is like water. If it's all choppy and disturbed, you can't see a thing. This totally reframes the problem, doesn't it? The goal isn't to fight the waves, it's to figure out what's causing them in the first place.
Okay, so let's start with the problem. The monk who shared all this wisdom, he started his journey just like most of us. He'd sit down, grit his teeth, and basically yell at his mind to concentrate, only to have it wander off like 2 seconds later. Sound familiar? Yeah. And this leads us to the big mistake pretty much all of us make.
We treat focus like it's a muscle we have to flex with every ounce of our being. We think if we just apply more force, more willpower, we can somehow pin our attention down and make it behave. But, as the monk found out, that whole approach, it just creates more mental tension and frustration, which, you guessed it, makes the problem even worse.
This slide just lays it out perfectly. You've got two paths. On the left, there's the one we all try, forcing focus. It's a constant battle. You're fighting your own thoughts. But then, on the right, you've got the monk's big revelation, removing the disturbance. So instead of fighting, you're just creating the conditions for focus to show up on its own. One is a struggle, the other is just letting go.
And that brings us right to the heart of it all, this still water analogy. This incredibly simple but really profound lesson from the monk's teacher, it changed everything for him. And honestly, it can do the same for us. So here's the story. His teacher puts a bowl of water in front of him. A breeze comes through, making the surface tremble, and his reflection is all blurry and distorted. Then, the teacher does something really simple. He just shields the bowl with his hand. The wind stops, the water grows still, and bam, the reflection becomes perfectly clear. The lesson was instant. Stop fighting the water. Just block the wind.
So what is this stillness we're talking about? Here's the kicker. It's not something you have to create or force. The big insight here is that stillness is our mind's default setting. It's what's left over when all the noise, internal and external, finally settles down. Clarity isn't something you build, it's something you uncover.
And this is how it connects directly to your life, right now. That little buzz from your phone, that's a gust of wind. The worry about that deadline tomorrow, another gust. Mentally replaying that awkward thing you said yesterday, you got it, more wind. We are constantly letting these things churn up the surface of our minds, and it keeps us from ever seeing clearly.
Okay, so if the goal is to reduce the wind, how in the world do we actually do that? This is where we get practical. The monk offers 3 really simple, totally actionable things you can do to start calming the water of your mind. Here they are. And I know they look almost too simple, but their power isn't in their complexity, it's in doing them consistently. So let's break them down. First, you just sit in silence. Second, you do one thing at a time. And third, and this one might be the most important, you accept distractions gently.
Let's really look at step 1. Just sit. Sounds so easy, right? But the monk warns that, at first, it's going to feel deeply uncomfortable. And why is that? Because for maybe the first time, you're not running from the chaos in your head. You're actually seeing the baseline level of disturbance that's been there all along. That's not a failure. That's the very beginning of awareness.
The second practice is all about destroying the myth of multitasking. When you give your full attention to one single thing, it doesn't matter if it's washing the dishes or writing an email, you are actively training your attention. The task itself isn't really the point. The focused practice is the point. You're building that muscle of staying with one thing. And this third step, it's absolutely crucial. Your mind is going to wander. It just is. The goal isn't to get angry about it, because think about it, getting frustrated is just another gust of wind disturbing the water. Instead, you just gently guide your attention back, kind of like a patient parent leading a toddler back to the path. Again and again and again, no judgment, just gentle redirection.
So, why are we doing all this? Is it just about being more productive, about checking more things off our to-do list? Not even close. The practice is building towards something much, much deeper. It's about the power of clarity. And that is the true reward here.
Yeah, the benefits go way beyond just being efficient.
When the water of your mind gets still, your thoughts naturally get quieter. Your actions stop being just knee-jerk reactions, they become intentional choices. And in that quiet space, you start to see yourself clearly. Not the version of you that's constantly shaped by noise, but the real person underneath it all.
So let's be super clear about this. The ultimate goal isn't an empty inbox. It's a clear mind. This is all about trading a life of constant reaction for a life of conscious, aware action. It's about living with purpose, not just running on autopilot.
So what's the first step? Well, the monk's call to action is unbelievably simple. Just 5 minutes a day. That's it. Sit in silence, notice your breath, and when your mind wanders off, gently bring it back. That is the entire practice.
And please remember this powerful idea. You don't need a 2-hour meditation session. You don't need to go on a silent retreat. Mastery starts with a small, consistent commitment. 5 minutes every single day. That's where the real change happens.
So we'll end with this question, just to carry with you. Imagine all that noise fades away, and the water becomes perfectly still. What reflection might you see? What decisions would you make differently? What truth about yourself and your life might finally become clear?